Welcome to the Friday Night Locker Room Show. I'm your host, Zach Clark. With me, I have Orville, as always, and Steve. But first off, we're going to start off with a little announcements that are going around in Brevard County. First announcement was Jamel Dean, a cornerback who is 6 foot 205, runs a 4.4, who's a 4-star according to Rivals. And Steve, you have a little bit more information on Jamel Dean.
Yeah, big-time recruit. Most teams in the country were after Jamel Dean. He committed last year to Ohio State University, did not waver, so he graduated from Cocoa High just last week. He's going to be an early enrollee in January. Dean, we've said without question the best football player in Brevard County this year, excels on both sides of the ball. Early indications are as Ohio State wants to use him as a defensive back. He's the best receiver in the county, but I'd look for him at DB, 6'2", 195. He's a big boy who plays hard and plays fast. Congratulations, Jamel Dean. He's going to do well at the next level.
And also proving his excellence also in the classroom, too, with a 3.8 GPA as he heads off to Ohio State. Other news going around in Brevard County is we have some coaching news out of Rockledge. Orville?
Well, the Rockledge Raiders announced Thursday that Larry Laskowski, the head coach for the boys football program there, would no longer be in that position. Larry Laskowski is going to step down. He will stay at Rockledge High School. He is a PE teacher there. He will stay at Rockledge High as a PE teacher, but he will no longer be the head coach. Larry Laskowski, a longtime Brevard County resident. He's been in Brevard County and coached for over 35 years. He's been at Rockledge High School for over 20 years, and he was involved with Chuck Wood and then Pat Lusk and Stockton and those guys when they brought two back-to-back state champions in football to the Rockledge Raider community back in the early 2000s. So Larry Laskowski has put in his time as not only a community leader, a city leader in the city of Rockledge, but a community leader, an administrative type person at the high school, and he's sent a lot of young men, his whole staff has sent a lot of young men to the next level. We want to wish, the Friday Night Locker Room want to wish Larry Laskowski all the luck in the world, for lack of a better word. He's a great guy, known him for 20-some years. He does the right things on and off the football field. And Larry, we just want to say congratulations for the time that you have put at Rockledge High School and throughout the other coaching positions you've had through the years. And we want to wish you success and everything from this step forward.
This obviously won't be the last time we talk about Larry. We'll keep up to date on what he is doing. Also, Brandon Ziarno, who is out here right now, somewhere out here. Don't know when he's going to play quite yet. But big news for him is last night he got the MVP award for the FACA All-Star Game, which pits the North versus the South. He led his team in the last minute to a game-winning touchdown and two-point conversion to win the game for the North and was named the MVP. So congratulations to Brandon Ziarno.
Zach, if I could, one thing about Brandon. Steve and I have watched him for a long time. He's been MCC player for many years. Everything is, what have you done for me today? Well, last night he had a big game and he led his team to victory. But you stop and look what the young man has done over his career at MCC. But just 49 touchdowns last year alone, or this year alone, with only 2 interceptions. That says a lot about not only the young man under center, but also his teammates who, as a line, protected him, and as the receivers caught the ball for him. So he's a team guy. He's very, we've talked to him before. He's been the Friday Night Locker Room player of the game more than once over the years, but he's he led the Space Coast. One of his dreams, he said, coming into it, was he wanted to lead the Space Coast in passing. Well, it's obvious that he was able to do that. But 49 touchdowns this year and only 2 interceptions speaks a lot. And that young man, he has not gotten any big-time offers yet from any schools, but look for him to come.
The last offer he had was from Valparaiso, so we'll keep tabs on Brandon. Steve, any take on Brandon Ziarno?
Well, he's one of the best. He was recently named the Class 3A Player of the Year in the state of Florida. So that alone tells you he's highly thought about around the state of Florida. To be singled out as the best football player in Class 3A is really saying something.
And in case you were wondering what's going on behind us, it's the Brevard's finest 7-on-7 flag football tournament, where it's basically bringing together all of Brevard County's greatest players from college and high school, bringing them together for a great tournament and a great cause. We've had some excellent celebrities out here and just a great atmosphere out here, and very excited to be out here. So we're going to kick it right into gear to the men's Class 2A as we talk some, not college basketball, high school basketball. Steve?
Class 2A District 11 consists of the Brevard Heat, Covenant Christian, Masters Academy, Merritt Island Christian, and Morningside. Last year, Covenant Christian and Masters Academy were 1-2. I don't think we're going to see that this year. I like the way the Heat are playing. They're going to make a strong push in the second half. I think Covenant Christian is still going to be somewhere in the mix. They defeated Merritt Island Christian a few weeks ago. So look for the Heat and those two teams to duke it out. But like Orville mentioned earlier, all teams will qualify for district playoffs. The top two will advance to regionals, but the Heat look pretty good early.
Let's swing over to the Class 3A, Orville.
Class 3A District 13, again, same as the girls. Benjamin out of Palm Beach, Florida Air, John Carroll, Jupiter Christian, and added one that the girls don't have, and MCC. Last year, Florida Air won that, and you have to like what they're doing. They're 12-3 right now, ranked number 13th in the state overall. The guys are doing a great job at Florida Air. And the number 2 team in that district, Rob Terry and the MCC Hustlers. They're playing well. I think they've only lost a couple games so far. One of them was to the Florida Air Falcons, which is the number 1 team right now in the district, and also to Heritage, or to Holy Trinity, excuse me. So they're doing a nice job there. You got to like Florida Air and MCC to fight it out again for that district, that 1 and 2 spot in that district.
Class 4A, Steve.
Class 4A District 8 consists of Astronaut, Cocoa Beach, Edgewood, Holy Trinity, Space Coast, and West Shore. No surprise, this year from last year, it's the Battle of the Tigers, the Cocoa Tigers and the Holy Trinity Tigers. Those two teams, for the most part, have separated themselves. Coach James Rose Tigers from Cocoa have yet to lose a game this year. Will Cox is playing as solid as anybody in the county. The Holy Trinity Tigers may be even more balanced than they were last year. So those two teams are going to be meeting in January, and that's going to give us an early indication as to who the top team is in that district. Right now, we don't know. They're both playing very, very solid basketball. Cocoa Beach down just a little bit. I love the way Rocky Jenkins, Edgewood Indians are playing. I don't know that they're quite ready to compete with the Cocos and Holy Trinity, but they've won. They're hovering somewhere around the 500. They're winning basketball games. West Shore is the same at about a 500 team. Space Coast has actually won quite a few games this year. Their schedule is top-heavy with some of the lighter teams in the county, so I think if you look at their record, they're not quite as strong as it indicates. But when all's said and done, it's going to be Cocoa and Holy Trinity in 1-2 or 2-1, who knows, but those are the two top teams.
Let's pass it over to the Class 5A.
Class 5A, again, has the 2 different districts, 14 and 15. We'll do Class 5A District 14 first. The Merritt Island Mustangs, the Rockledge Raiders, the Satellite Scorpions, and the Titusville Terriers. Right now, Rockledge won last year. They were the district champions. This year, the Rockledge Raiders and head coach Logan Keith are struggling. They've only won 2 ball games, and I think right now they're at like a 6-0 run of defeated games. They've lost 6 in a row. Wow. So that's really tough for the Rockledge Raiders. Satellite Scorpions, 3-10. They defeated Titusville, which was a little bit of surprise. Titusville's only lost 1 game, and it was to the Satellite Scorpions. So Chris Bainbridge was the number 2 team last year. He has an opportunity with the Raiders playing down right now to take over that number 1 spot in the district, which he has right now. So you have to like that. Merritt Island Mustangs were 7-16 last year, and I think that'll be tough for them to probably be around the same this year. Coach Flash Camp doing a nice job over there. Their biggest game so far was against MCC. They lost it, but only by 1. So that was a big step up for the Merritt Island Mustangs to only lose 1 point to MCC. But that's Class 5A District 14. And on the 15 level, a 3-team district, same as the girls. The Bayside Bears, the Palm Bay Pirates, and Suncoast. Again, as the boys, Suncoast won last year. Bayside Bears came in second. The Bears, again, struggling this year. They've only won 1 game. Palm Bay, they've won their last 6 games. They lost their first 3, and then they've won 6. So they're on a real nice roll there. So I think Palm Bay will take over Bayside probably for that number 2 spot.
Class 6A, Steve.
Class 6A District 7 consists of East River and Edgewater out of the Orlando area, then the Eau Gallie Commodores and Heritage Panthers locally. At the beginning of the season, we almost dedicated it to Edgewater. They were the team to beat without question. All of a sudden, the Panthers, they're a lot better than some of us thought they were, myself included. I don't know that they're quite with Edgewater. They gave them fits a couple of weeks ago after getting blown out early. So I still think that one's still a two-team district between Edgewater and Heritage. O'Galley, maybe the third seed, East River 4. Don't count out the Panthers yet, though. I know they'd love to win the district and get that first-round home game, but regardless, I'd be very surprised if the Heritage doesn't get one of the top two seeds when all is said and done. And Edgewater is probably going to be the number 1 seed.
And lastly, Class 7A.
7A, Class 7A District 12 includes Martin County, the Melbourne Bulldogs, Sebastian River, and the Viera Hawks. Last year it was the Melbourne Bulldogs and Martin County, and it looks like it's going to be that same thing this year. Last year the Viera Hawks on the boys' side struggled. They're doing the same thing this year. They've won 3 ball games in the 2014 season. Sebastian River, they've won more than they've lost, but they've only won 4. So they're struggling a little bit there. Also the Melbourne Bulldogs, 7-1. Their only loss was on the Friday night locker room game of the week, and that was to the Cocoa Tigers. And Steve likes the Cocoa, well, we both like the Cocoa Tigers and head coach James Rowe. That was when he only had one football player back, and that was Chauncey Gardner, who turned out to be the Friday night locker room player of the game. But he showed that there's not a big transition for him to go to one sport to the next. He led the team in scoring, was all over the floor defensively and offensively. But you have to like Mike Sullivan and the Melbourne Bulldogs. They're 7-1, and Martin County is going to be probably the number 2 team in that district. So that shows you what Class 7A District 12 is for the boys.
That was the overview for this week in all the classes, men's and women's. But this was the men's edition. Right now, we're going to kick it over into the top 5, and we'll start off with Steve with his top 5. Steve, who do you got?
Top 5 this week, I actually have 8. I have a top 6, and I have 2 honorable mention. I have the Satellite Scorps and the Heritage Panthers as honorable mention, both playing solid basketball. Coach Orville's looking at me like I've lost my mind. Once again, putting Satellite as an honorable mention. Haven't won a lot of basketball games, but they're one of the top teams in the county, believe me. I have a tie at the number 5 position between MCC and Titusville. I'd love to see them play, and they are going to play. I think Coach Terry and Coach Bainbridge, 2 of the top coaches in Brevard County, both squads moving in the right direction. Number 4, Coach Sullivan's Melbourne Bulldogs, without question one of the top 4 teams in the county. This is where Coach Orville and I may disagree. I have the Cocoa Tigers at number 3 and the Holy Trinity Tigers at number 2, and you could probably flip-flop that. I think they're that evenly matched, and we'll find out on the 19th of January who the top team is between those 2. Number 1 checking in, once again, has to be the Falcons from Florida Air Academy.
Orville, Jim, what's your take on Steve's top 5 there?
Well, Steve, Steve's very knowledgeable about basketball and all the other sports that we do, and Steve's very knowledgeable about all the sports that we do and everything that we try to rate. Unfortunately, he cannot take what he knows to paper, so sometimes he writes down wrong numbers and wrong names. But other than that, I think he's got the right idea. It's better for him to have a top 10 than it is a top 5. The opportunity for him to be correct is a lot easier. The odds are a lot better. But I've got Titusville. I agree with him. Titusville Terriers, they're 10-1. Here again, we talked about Viera in football. Chris Bainbridge yet to play some of the better teams, so he's going to have to win some ball games, in the next couple of weeks. But MCC I have at number 5. Holy Trinity, and Steve likes the Holy Trinity Tigers and the Cocoa Tigers. So do I. But I have the Holy Trinity Tigers behind the Melbourne Bulldogs. Melbourne I have at number 3. The Cocoa Tigers I have at number 2. The Cocoa Tigers and the Melbourne Bulldogs played each other Friday night locker room game of the week. The Cocoa Tigers won that game with, like I said earlier, James Rowe, not Steve shaking his head no.
You have Holy Trinity at number 4. There aren't 3 teams in the county better than Holy Trinity. There aren't.
Okay.
Okay, you were a little confused. I wanted to help you.
I appreciate that very much. The Cocoa Tigers are undefeated. Florida Air, are they undefeated, Steve?
No.
But yet you have Florida Air at number 1. But Florida Air, and I have Florida Air at number 1 also, but I understand the situation. So I've got Florida Air number 1, the Tigers 2, the Melbourne Bulldogs 3, Holy Trinity 4, MCC 5, and the Titusville Terriers and Chris Bainbridge in the honorable mention slot.
That's not bad. It's not accurate, but that's not bad.
Well, just being on the same stage with you is enough for me, Steve, so I appreciate that.
How much fun is this?
I appreciate the airtime.
Well, that was Brevard's top 5 right there for the boys class, all the classes for the boys. Right now, we are broadcasting out here at Don Moe Stradley Park as we are out here for Brevard's finest 7-on-7 flag football tournament, bringing together all of Brevard County's great football athletes, high school and college. That's everything for us here at Don Moe Stradley Park. We tune in next week as we will have the exact same broadcast with different results next week here at Friday
Maybe Steve will get it right next week.
Yeah.
at Friday Night Locker Room. I'm Zach Clark for Orville and Steve. Thank you for watching.